Have you ever wondered what lies beneath the ancient ice, untouched, unseen, and unspoken? If there are creatures that have survived in eternal darkness, never captured on film or in science journals? And what stories have been frozen in time, hidden from the internet and the modern world? Today, we take you beyond the edge of the known map, to the Arctic. Not just the coldest and most remote place on Earth, but a realm of riddles still unsolved. Remnants of lost civilizations buried in permafrost. Natural phenomena that defy scientific explanation. Legends whispered by the Inuit people, never before shared in any documentary or online post. If you're someone who craves the unknown, thrives on mystery, and lives for exploration, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and share this journey with fellow adventurers. And don't forget to drop a comment below about the moment that surprised you most on our Arctic expedition. Chapter 1. The Circumpolar Web, where ice connects worlds. The Arctic is not a barren wasteland. It's a living, breathing crossroads of humanity and nature. Picture this, a place where the sun refuses to set for months, where the northern lights paint the sky in ghostly greens, and where temperatures plunge so low your breath freezes midair. Yet against all odds, life thrives here in ways that defy imagination. Eight nations share this frozen frontier: Canada, Greenland, Russia, the US, and the Nordic lands, each bound by ice but divided by politics. What if I told you that beneath this icy surface lies a hidden web of connections? Indigenous peoples like the Inuit, Sami, and Nenets have navigated these lands for millennia, reading the snow like a map and predicting storms by the wind's whisper. Their wisdom is the Arctic's unwritten library. But how do you build a life where winter lasts 9 months? Ask a Sami reindeer herder, guiding his herd across tundra that stretches forever. Or an Inupiat hunter in Alaska, waiting for the bowhead whale's return. Their survival hinges on traditions so precise, so attuned to nature, that modern science is only now beginning to understand them. Yet change is coming, fast. The ice that once locked ships out now melts, revealing new shipping lanes, oil fields, and battlefields for power. Russia militarizes its coast. Canada races to protect its sovereignty. Greenland eyes independence as its glaciers crumble. The Arctic is no longer remote, it's the front line of climate change and geopolitics. But here's the twist. The Arctic's greatest strength isn't its oil or strategic location, it's its people. In Norway, Sami activists fight to preserve their language. In Nunavut, Inuit artists carve stories into soapstone, keeping legends alive. In Siberia, Nenets nomads trek 800 miles a year with their reindeer, unfazed by Putin's pipelines. So let me ask you, can the Arctic balance progress and preservation? Or will it become another victim of the modern world's hunger? The answer lies in the hands of those who call it home, and in our, as we watch, learn, and decide what role we'll play. One thing's certain, the Arctic doesn't need saving. It needs listening to. Chapter 2, Alaska, The Last Frontier's Melting Reality. Alaska isn't just America's final frontier. It's ground zero for climate chaos. Imagine a place where grizzlies roam glaciers, where entire villages are crumbling into the sea, and where the winter night lasts 65 days. This is where the planet's future is being written, one melting permafrost layer at a time. Start in Utqiagvik, formerly Barrow, the northernmost U.S. town. Here, Inupiat elders teach kids to hunt seals just as their ancestors did, but now the ice forms later and thins sooner. A single missed hunt can mean empty freezers. Meanwhile, in Prudhoe Bay, oil rigs pump billions of barrels, funding Alaska's economy while staining its conscience. Ever seen a drunken forest? It's what happens when permafrost thaws, tilting trees like tipsy giants. Roads buckle. Pipelines leak. And ancient carbon, trapped for millennia, seeps into the atmosphere, accelerating the very warming that caused it. It's a feedback loop from hell, and Alaska's trapped in the center. Yet hope flickers. In Anchorage, scientists track methane spikes with drones. In Bethel, Yupik fishermen adapt with new nets for salmon migrating north. And in Juneau, lawmakers debate the impossible: how to wean Alaska off oil without bankrupting it. question isn't whether Alaska will change, it's who gets to decide how. Will it be the oil giants? The politicians? Or the Inupiat teen learning to pilot a drone to monitor whale migrations? The last frontier's greatest resource isn't underground. It's the resilience of the people standing firm between ice and industrial might. Chapter 3, Canada's Arctic, where reckoning meets resilience. This is where maps go to die. Canada's Arctic is a fractured empire of ice, a wilderness so vast it could swallow Europe whole, yet so fragile a single degree of warming can rewrite its future. Picture a land where glaciers calve like thunder, where narwhals pierce icy waters with spiral tusks, and where the Inuit have turned survival into an art form over 4,000 years. But make no mistake, this isn't some frozen museum. Nunavut, Canada's youngest territory, is ground zero for a revolution. Inuit governors now sit where colonial administrators once ruled. Inuktitut, once banned in schools, blares from radios and courtroom benches. Yet as traditions resurge, the land itself slips away. Ever heard a glacier weep? Scientists have. Hydrophones pick up the eerie groans of melting ice in fjords near Ilulissat. Meanwhile, permafrost swallows cabins whole in Dawson City, while wildfires, yes, Wildfires now torch tundra that hasn't burned in millennia. The paradox? Canada's Arctic is awakening just as it disappears. The fabled Northwest Passage, a graveyard for 19th century explorers, is now a shipping shortcut, with Russian tankers eyeing routes through Inuit hunting grounds. Mining companies drool over rare earth metals beneath caribou calving sites. And that iconic Canadian polar bear? Its sea ice hunting platform is literally dissolving. But here's what the headlines miss. Inuit hunters are becoming drone pilots, mapping ice thickness for their communities. Artists like Germain Arnautoyok etch vanishing landscapes into prints that fetch thousands down south. And in a Churchill lab, biologists are breeding algae to slow glacier melt, because in the Arctic, even the tiniest organisms hold power. So I ask you, can a nation reconcile its colonial past with an unstable future? Can ice roads become solar highways? The answers may lie not in Ottawa's parliament, but in an Inuit elder's warning. The land doesn't belong to us, we belong to it. Chapter 4. Greenland, the ice giant's gamble. Greenland is a deception. Its name whispers greenery, yet 80% is buried under an ice sheet so massive it warps the Earth's crust. This is ground zero for climate dominoes. If its ice fully melts, global seas rise 7 meters. But here's the twist. As the ice dies, Greenland itself is waking up. Follow a sled dog team in Ilulissat at midnight sun. The musher, an Inuit fisherman, navigates fjords where glaciers retreat at 40 meters daily. a rate visible in human time. Yet beneath his boots, something else stirs: rubies, uranium, and enough rare earth metals to power every smartphone on Earth. China's already knocking. Kangerlussuaq, 2023, a sandstorm. In Greenland. Dust from newly exposed soil darkens the ice, accelerating melt. Meanwhile, Nuuk's politicians debate independence from Denmark, funded by mining or throttled by eco-conscious voters. The dilemma plays out in neon-lit bars where geologists clink beers with seal hunters. But Greenland's secret weapon? Its people. Inuit chefs reinvent Arctic fusion with muskox tartare. Scientists drill ice cores revealing 120,000 years of climate data, with a side of Viking DNA. And at the abandoned U.S. Thule base, rusting Cold War radars stand sentinel over new battle lines, not east versus west, but exploitation versus survival. The question isn't whether Greenland will change, it's whether the world will let it lead. As one elder told me, we didn't cause your climate crisis. But our ice is paying for it. Now, the ice is talking back. Chapter 5, Iceland, Volcanoes, Virtues, and Vulnerability. Iceland is the Arctic's wildcard, a place where fire and ice literally share a bed. Walk the Rift Valley at Thingvellir, your left foot in Europe, your right in America, as tectonic plates groan apart beneath you. This is where democracy was born in 930 AD, and where 21st century climate hypocrisy is laid bare. Reykjavik bills itself as eco-paradise, geothermal pools, carbon-neutral data centers, and more electric cars per capita than Tesla's hometown. But follow the energy trail. Aluminum smelters have devoured glacial rivers. A single factory consumes 15% of Iceland's electricity to fuel Amazon's cloud servers. Yet the land fights back. In 2010, Eyjafjallajökull's ash paralyzed European air travel. In 2021, Fagradalsfjall erupted for 6 months, birthing a neon-orange lava field that became TikTok's backdrop. Icelanders shrugged. They've coexisted with eruptions for 1,100 years. But the real drama's underwater. As the Gulf Stream weakens, Iceland's cod, its economic lifeblood, migrate north. Warmwater mackerel invade, triggering fish wars with the EU. Meanwhile, glaciers lose 10 billion tons of ice yearly. Ökjökull, a 700-year-old glacier, was declared dead in 2019, complete with a funeral plaque, a letter to the future. Here's the kicker. Iceland could become the Arctic's green energy Saudi Arabia. Hydrogen plants, carbon capture labs, even plans to refreeze glaciers with artificial snow. But can it balance eco-ambition with reality? As a volcanologist told me, we're standing on a boiling pot, preaching to a burning world. Chapter 6, Norway, where oil wealth meets climate conscience. The Arctic doesn't do simple choices, and Norway embodies this paradox like nowhere else. Picture a nation that built its trillion-dollar fortune on offshore oil rigs, yet leads the world in electric cars and green technology. Where polar bears roam streets dotted with avant-garde architecture, and where the future of humanity's food supply is buried deep inside a melting mountain. This isn't just Norway's Arctic. It's a microcosm of our planet's climate reckoning. Let's start where the contradictions are coldest, Svalbard. Here, just 1,300 kilometers from the North Pole, you'll find the global seed vault, a concrete fortress carved into permafrost meant to safeguard humanity's agricultural heritage. But in 2016, this doomsday library faced an unexpected threat. The permafrost meant to protect it began thawing, flooding the entrance. The irony was as biting as the minus 30 degrees Celsius winds, a climate-proof bunker, vulnerable to the very crisis it was built to outlast. Yet Svalbard tells another story too, one of radical coexistence. The archipelago's 3,000 polar bears, outnumbering humans, have learned to ignore the clatter of coal mines that still operate here, while scientists from 45 countries study thawing glaciers just miles away. It's as if the entire island is a living lab, testing whether humans and nature can share the Arctic without destroying it. Now fly south to Tromsø, Norway's unofficial Arctic capital. By day, it's a hub for climate research where marine biologists track how warming waters are pushing cod northward. By night, the same scientists might sip cocktails at a bar powered by melted glacier ice, a gimmick that tastes increasingly bittersweet as those very glaciers disappear. The city's sleek Arctic cathedral, with its jagged titanium peaks mimicking icebergs, stands as a monument to Norway's dual identity, deeply connected to its icy heritage, yet racing toward a post-oil future. This tension plays out most dramatically in Norway's energy politics. Walk through Oslo, and you'll see more Teslas per capita than anywhere in the world. But follow the money, and you'll find every electric vehicle subsidy is funded by petroleum kroner. The government's $1.4 trillion sovereign wealth fund, built on oil profits, is now the world's largest investor in renewable energy, while still holding stakes in Exxon and Shell. It's a cognitive dissonance that even Norwegians struggle to reconcile. Perhaps nowhere is this moral balancing act more personal than for the Sami people. In Karasjok, the Sami parliament building's curved wooden roof mimics traditional lavu tents. But beneath its symbolic beauty simmers a quiet revolution. Young Sami lawyers use GPS data to prove ancestral reindeer migration routes are being severed by wind farms, while their cousins work on offshore oil platforms that fund those same green energy projects. When Sami rapper Sofia Jonik's protest song, Achi, went viral, its lyrics cut to the core. They call it progress when they take our land. But what's progress without our stories? To know. The answer may lie in Norway's northernmost oil fields. At the Snøhvit gas facility, engineers are testing carbon capture technology that could bury emissions under the seabed, a potential lifeline for the petroleum industry in a decarbonizing world. But just kilometers away, fishermen complain warmer waters have halved their snow crab catches in a decade. The lesson? In the Arctic, every solution creates new ripples. What makes Norway extraordinary isn't its perfection, but its willingness to live with these contradictions. As oil worker turned climate researcher, Eric told me on a Bergen dockside, we're all hypocrites in the energy transition. The question isn't whether we're inconsistent, it's whether we're learning from our mistakes fast enough. Standing on the deck of a hybrid-powered Hurtigruten ferry, watching the northern lights flicker over Lofoten's fishing villages, you realize Norway's Arctic isn't just a place. It's a preview of the painful, beautiful compromises every nation must soon face, where oil rigs and wind turbines share the same horizon, and where the path to a sustainable future is being carved, glacier slow, through layers of ice and irony. The midnight sun doesn't offer easy answers here. But it does illuminate one truth. In the Arctic, there are no clean breaks, only thaw lines. And how we navigate them will define more than just Norway's future. Chapter 7, Sweden and Finland, the silent revolution of the boreal Arctic. While most Arctic narratives fixate on melting glaciers and polar bears, Sweden and Finland's Arctic tells a different story. One written in the whispering pines of boreal forests and the mirrored surfaces of countless lakes. This is where climate change wears a subtler mask, where indigenous wisdom collides with green technology, and where Europe's last wilderness is being redefined. The journey begins in Kiruna, Sweden's northernmost city, where an impossible operation is underway. The world's largest underground iron mine, the economic lifeblood of this region, is literally causing the town to sink. But rather than abandon their home, the people of Kiruna are doing something extraordinary. They're moving the entire city, building by building. The 400-year-old church is being carefully dismantled and reconstructed. The school has already been relocated. It's a surreal sight, a community physically adapting to the consequences of industrial progress, even as that same industry funds their future. Just eastward in Finnish Lapland, another quiet transformation is occurring. The Sami people, Europe's only indigenous population, are navigating a modern paradox. Their reindeer, the living threads connecting them to this land for millennia, now wear GPS collars. Satellite phones have replaced smoke signals. But the greatest threat isn't technology, it's the increasingly erratic winters. The snow comes late and leaves early, explains 62-year-old herder Niels Anders as we sip coffee in his lavabo. When rain falls on snow and refreezes, it creates ice layers the reindeer can't break through to reach their food. This phenomenon, called lockup, is pushing Sami herders to unprecedented measures. Some now truck their reindeer to winter grazing grounds, a practice once unthinkable. Others supplement with imported feed. But the most innovative solution comes from young Sami like Elin, who combines drone surveys with ancestral migration knowledge to find surviving grazing areas. My grandfather's stories are now our GPS coordinates. She says, showing me an app that overlays oral history maps with real-time snow-cover data. The forests themselves are becoming unrecognizable. In Sweden's Dalarna province, bark beetles, once kept in check by cold winters, are now decimating spruce forests. The damage is so severe it's visible from space. Meanwhile, Finland's famous Land of a Thousand Lakes now has thousands more as permafrost thaws, creating new wetlands that release ancient methane. Yet amidst these challenges emerges something remarkable. The Nordic Arctic is becoming a laboratory for sustainable solutions. In Luleå, Sweden, the world's first fossil-free steel plant is rising, powered by hydrogen instead of coal. Finnish engineers are testing snow batteries, underground storage systems that preserve winter's cold to cool buildings in summer. Even the tourism industry is reinventing itself. Ice hotels now use solar-powered refrigeration, and husky tours offset their carbon through reforestation projects. The most profound change, however, is legal. In 2020, a Swedish court granted the Gurjas Sami village exclusive hunting and fishing rights over their ancestral lands, a landmark decision that recognized indigenous knowledge as equal to scientific evidence. It's not just about rights, explains lawyer Britta during a break in a similar case in Finland. It's about rewriting the rules of who gets to define sustainability. As midnight sun gilds the treetops near Inari, I join Sami artist Marja as she weaves a basket from birch roots. People see the Arctic as either a wasteland or a wilderness to be preserved, she reflects. But for us, it's always been a relationship. Her hands move steadily, the roots bending but not breaking, much like the Sami culture itself, adapting without surrendering its essence. Perhaps that's the ultimate lesson from Scandinavia's Arctic. Resilience isn't about resisting change, but guiding it. As Norway's oil-funded sovereign wealth fund invests in renewables, as Swedish miners partner with Sami communities, and as Finnish cities build on permafrost while preparing for its thaw, these nations are showing that even in the face of unprecedented transformation, some threads remain unbroken. The silver green of a birch leaf in summer, the crunch of snow under reindeer hooves, and the quiet determination of those who call this fragile frontier home. The boreal Arctic may not have the dramatic icebergs of Greenland or the geopolitical drama of Russia's north. But in its quiet, steadfast way, it's writing one of the most important chapters in the region's future, proving that sometimes the most revolutionary changes happen not with a bang, but with the patient persistence of roots pushing through frozen ground. Chapter 8: Russia's Arctic, the thawing frontier of power and peril. The numbers alone stagger the imagination. Russia controls 53% of the Arctic coastline, a frozen empire stretching from Norway's border to the Bering Strait. But this is no silent wilderness. It's a geopolitical chessboard where climate change is redrawing the rules of the game. As the ice retreats, Russia is moving in with a mix of military might, industrial ambition, and ecological recklessness that could determine the future of the entire Arctic. Our journey begins in Murmansk, home to Russia's nuclear icebreaker fleet. Yet even as the ground liquefies, Gazprom extracts 80 billion cubic meters of gas annually, piping it through infrastructure built on, you guessed it, thawing permafrost. The result? In 2020, a diesel tank near Norilsk spilled 21,000 tons of fuel into Arctic rivers, turning the water blood red. The cleanup crew used booms made from reindeer hair, a surreal fusion of ancient and modern crisis management. The human cost emerges in Chukotka's coastal villages, where Yupik and Chukchi hunters watch their world unravel. The ice used to be our highway, says 72-year-old whale hunter Anatoly, gesturing to the eerily open sea. Now it's a death trap, too thin to walk on, too thick for boats. His people's 2,000-year-old walrus hunting traditions are becoming impossible as pack ice retreats. Meanwhile, just 300 miles away, Rosneft is drilling the Vostok oil project, slated to produce 100 million tons annually by 2030, with pipelines crossing critical reindeer migration routes. Nowhere is Russia's Arctic paradox more striking than at Nagorsskoye Air Base. Here, on Franz Josef land, Russia has built a futuristic military complex painted in Arctic camouflage, white, gray, and baby blue. The runway welcomes nuclear-capable bombers, while the greenhouse grows cucumbers for soldiers at 80 degrees north latitude. It's a Potemkin village meets Dr. Strangelove scenario, a display of power in a place where temperatures still plunge to minus 42 degrees Celsius, despite climate change. Yet the most telling drama unfolds not on land, but underwater. As we accompany marine biologists on the academic Mstislav Keldysh, their sonar reveals something shocking. Methane plumes bubbling from seafloor permafrost at densities no model predicted. It's like opening a champagne bottle that's been shaking for millennia, mutters lead scientist Dr. Orlova. Each bubble contains a greenhouse gas 80 times more potent than CO2, a climate feedback loop even the Kremlin can't ignore. This is the Russian Arctic in 2024, where nuclear icebreakers escort LNG tankers past drowning villages, where military bases have Wi-Fi but no reliable heat, and where the very thaw that enables resource extraction threatens to make the region uninhabitable. As our helicopter lifts off from a drilling platform in the Pechora Sea, the endless white expanse below seems both indomitable and fragile, much like Russia itself, staking its future on a melting frontier. The question isn't whether Russia will dominate the Arctic. It already does. The real mystery is whether this dominance will accelerate the region's destruction, or whether the sheer scale of the coming crisis will force even Moscow to change course. One thing's certain, as goes Russia's Arctic, so goes the planet's climate future. And right now, the ice is voting with its feet.